What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Game Day with Trey. Of course, this is your host, Trey, and today we're going to talk about this NFL Sunday afternoon matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at this matchup, man. This game will kick off on October 6th, 1 p.m. East Coast time. The line is Texans +1, over/under is 47.5, maybe 47 if you get it. You can get it some places, right? It'll be in NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, guys. So let's go ahead and let's talk about this Week 5 matchup, right? Houston Texans are 3-1 this year after they defeated Jacksonville by a score of 24-20 in their last game. Houston trailed 20-17 in the fourth quarter, but they scored late in the game for the win. So the Texans outgained Jacksonville by a total of 435 yards to 313 yards. Lost the turnover battle 1-0 and went 7-13 on third down in the game. CJ Stroud threw for 345 yards, 2 touchdowns, while Nico Collins caught 12 passes for 151 yards and 1 score. All right, so Houston Texans also have wins right now over the Indianapolis Colts and Chicago Bears, but did lose to Minnesota by a score of 34-7 in Minnesota. All right, so the Houston offense has scored 19.8 points per game and 257.8 passing yards with 106.8 rushing yards a game, while the defense has allowed 23.5 points per game this season. The Texans have gone 40% on third down and 5 for 7 on fourth down so far this season. And CJ Stroud has completed 67.6% of his passes for 1,054 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. While Nico Collins, man, that boy balling. He done caught 30 passes for 489 yards and 2 scores, man. All right, so when you're looking at these two teams, you still got to look at Buffalo, right? So the Buffalo Bills are 3-1 this season after they lost to Baltimore by a score of 35-10 last week. Buffalo cut the deficit to 21-10 right after halftime, but allowed the last 14 points in the game for the blowout loss. The Bills were outgained by a total of 427 yards to 236. Tied the turnover battle at 1 and went 3 for 13 on third down in the game. Josh Allen threw for 180 yards on 16 completions, while Khalil Shakir caught 4 passes for 62 yards in the game, man. Buffalo won their first 3 games against Arizona, Miami, and Jacksonville, though, to start the season. Not to say that those are like world beaters, but they did win those first 3 games, guys. All right, Buffalo offense has scored 30.5 points per game with 195.5 passing yards and 110.3 rushing yards per game, while the defense has allowed 20.8 points per game this season. The Bills have gone 35.7% on third down and 6 for 6 on fourth so far, and Josh Allen has completed 69.3% of his passes for 814 yards, 7 touchdowns, while James Cook has rushed for 227 yards and 3 scores. But what's going on with that injury report with these two teams, right? So when you look at the injury report, you're looking at the fact that Buffalo is still missing significant players. Ed Oliver, he's going to be out with the hamstring still, man. Khalil Shakir, he's going to be out battling that ankle injury. And he is not going to dress on Sunday, guys. That is very important. Von Miller, he's out on a suspension for violating the personal conduct policy. All right, so he's set to miss 4 games, guys. All right, Deion Dawkins, a tackle, he's questionable with the hamstring, managing that hamstring injury. Teron Johnson, he's questionable, mentioned with the forearm injury, man. Josh Allen, he's still got an undisclosed injury. We know his tough ass will be out there to play. All right, then when you look over at Houston, man, Houston's got some injuries. Like Blake Fisher, he's questionable dealing with the illness. Robert Woods, he's questionable dealing with that foot injury, man. Joe Mixon, he is still doubtful. He's missed the previous 2 games with that ankle injury, and that really hampers their run game. MJ Stewart, he's questionable with the knee injury still. He's been dealing with that. Damian Pierce, he's questionable with the hamstring injury. He sat out the previous 3 games dealing with this hamstring injury. Juice Scruggs, their center, he's questionable, missed the last 3 games still with that groin injury. Unclear if he'll be back yet. Then Jared Patterson, he's questionable with the calf injury. He's out of the last 2 games. Like, they are banged up over here. Tank Dell, man, he's questionable with the ribs still, managing that rib injury. Don't know if he's going to be out there. Jimmy Ward, he's questionable with the groin injury. Laramie Tunsil, he's questionable managing that ankle injury. Unclear if he's going to be out there, guys. There's a lot of injuries going all around this team, man. Even Cameron Irving, he's out, undisclosed injury, man. especially in this offensive line. Offensive line is just really banged up for the Houston Texans, right? So when you come over and you look at statistically, right, those stats I gave you earlier, let's see where they rank up in the NFL, man. See where they line up, right? So when you're looking right now at the Buffalo's offense, I told you, you're averaging 30.5 points per game. That's second in the NFL. And Houston's defense is giving up 23.5, so that's 22nd in the NFL. Definite opportunity for Buffalo to put some points up in this game. They're getting 5.6 yards per play on offense, but the problem is Houston's only giving up 4.8. That's the fifth best in the NFL, guys. Third down, I told you, Buffalo's at 35.71% on third down for the season, 21st in the NFL, and they got an opportunity there because Houston's defense is allowing 40.38% third down opposition conversion. So that gives them an opportunity. And then look, in the red zone, big opportunity in the red zone. Buffalo can get down to the red zone. They're going to check that box, man. They're going to score 73.3% of the time. That's third best in the NFL. Whereas Houston's defense, man, they're the 28th worst in the NFL in the red zone. If you get to the red zone, you finna check the box. 75% of the time, you finna check that box, right? So then let's look how the run games are going, right? So Houston's able to stop the run. They allow, Houston against the run, right? They are able to. They're not able to stop the run. They're allowing teams to get 4.7 yards per carry. That's 25th worst in the NFL. But Buffalo, they can't run the ball. They only run the ball 4 yards a carry. That's 24th worst in the NFL, guys. Then they're only getting 110.3 yards per game. That's 17th in the NFL. And Houston's giving up 112.8. That's 13th in the NFL. So they meet in the middle right there. Then if you look, okay, let's look at the passing, right? So because that's supposed to be Buffalo's strength. Buffalo is 9th in the NFL, getting 7.9 yards per pass play. But Houston's pass defense is only giving up 6.3 yards per pass play. That is fifth best in the NFL, guys. All right. As far as completion percentage, Houston's got the number one defense in the NFL, only allowing opposing quarterbacks to pass for 57.27%. Pass completions. All right. Whereas Buffalo is the 10th best passing offense in the NFL at 69.23%, guys. So this is where the rubber meets the road right here. Will Houston be able to hold them down? I think Houston has a good opportunity to, especially given the injuries that are out there. Because Buffalo really ain't even putting up yards passing. They're only getting 195.5 yards a game. That's 20th in the NFL. And Houston, they're only allowing 161 yards through the air per game. That's fourth best in the NFL, guys. All right, so let's look at the inverse. Let's look at Houston, right? So Houston's offense, like I told you, 19.8 points per game. That's 18th in the NFL versus Buffalo's defense, which is 11th best in the NFL, giving up 20.8. All right, so not really a lot of opportunity for a lot of points there, guys. But we'll see, considering the injuries that's going on, man. Because on third down, Houston will give you 40%. All right, that's 15th in the NFL. And guess what? Buffalo's allowing 42%. So that's 23rd worst in the NFL. All right, then when you look red zone, if Houston gets to the red zone, they check in the box 72.73% of the time. Whereas Buffalo's defense is middle of the pack, allowing you to score a touchdown 50% of the time when you reach the red zone. All right, so what's going on with Houston's rush game right now? Because they're only averaging 4.2 yards per rush. That's 21st worst in the NFL. But they got going against a Buffalo defense that can't stop the run. All right, they're giving up 5.7 yards per play. That's the 32nd worst defense against the run in the NFL. They're allowing teams to run for 156.5 yards per game. That's 30th worst in the NFL. But Houston, man, they might not be able to take advantage of it because they're only getting 106.8, especially given the injuries that they got out there, man. That's 20th worst in the NFL as far as rushing the ball is concerned. So let's look in the pass, right? Well, Buffalo's pass defense is allowing 63.7% pass completion per game. That's 11th best in the NFL, but Houston's completing 67.1. That's the 16th in the NFL. That's middle of the pack. Buffalo has the number one opposing pass defense in the NFL. They're only allowing 5.5 yards per pass, guys. That's and Houston's only getting 7.5. That's 13th in the NFL. So there's definitely a rubber for the meet the road on that one too, guys. You're gonna see what's gonna happen because Buffalo's only allowing 165.3 yards through the air per game. But remember, the teams they have played are not like world beaters at quarterback, guys. All right, and then of course, Houston's putting up 257.8. That's the fourth best in the NFL. So Houston's going to put Buffalo's pass defense to the test, and this will probably be the first time that they've seen a real quarterback so far this season. Just saying. Besides, Kyler Murray's good, but he's not he's not C.J. Stroud, guys. All right, Kyler Murray's okay. All right, but he's not C.J. Stroud. All right, so in the last in the last 3 games, right? So Buffalo's averaging 29.3 points per game and only giving up 18.3. In Houston, they're on a little slump. They're averaging 16.7 and they're giving up 22.3. Now, a lot of that comes from the 34-7 drubbing that they took from Minnesota, but that's within the last 3 games, right? Now, but at home, Houston scoring 21.5 points per game and only giving up 16.5, whereas Buffalo on the road, man, they're only averaging 20.5 points per game and they're giving up 22.5 points per game, guys. So the Buffalo defense on the road is not as potent as it is at home. Okay, and then when you go ahead and you take a look at situationally how these teams have been playing. Situationally, we know they're both 3-1 straight up in this current situation. At home, Houston's 2-0, and on the road, Buffalo is 1-1, guys. All right, and remember that game log that they played against, man. They have played against Jacksonville, not playing good. Miami, not playing good at quarterback. Arizona, not playing good at quarterback. Now, Baltimore is running the ball and has a good quarterback, and they got mollywopped on the road, right? So that can make a lot of sense to you. And if you look at Houston's performances, okay, on this season, their home teams that they played against were Chicago and Jacksonville, teams that are also struggling at the quarterback position. All right, so you can take everything what I'm saying with a grain of salt on certain things, right? So against the spread, Buffalo is 2-2, and Houston has not covered the spread all season long. They're 0-3-1. All right, yeah. At home against those 2 teams I just mentioned, Houston is 0-1-1. So they pushed against one of those teams. They didn't even cover against the other one. All right, and then as an away team, Buffalo's 1-1. All right, now over/under. Houston's 1 to the over and 3 to the under so far this season, and Buffalo is 2-2, 2 to the over and 2 to the under. On the road, Buffalo teams have gone under, though, 0-2. And at home, Houston's games have gone under 0-2. And like I said, this is going to be a kind of a first-time matchup for Buffalo to see an actual quarterback. You know what I mean? Like an actual real quarterback and passing game, guys. So this is going to be an intriguing matchup. Then when we look over here, as far as in the last 10 times these teams have been out here, Buffalo is 8-2 in their last 10, 5-5 against the spread, and 6 to the over, 4 to the under in their last 10 games that they have played, right? Buffalo next will meet the New York Jets, Tennessee Titans, and Seattle Seahawks in their next 3 games, guys. And then when you're looking at Houston is 7-3 straight up, 4-5-1 against the spread, and 3 to the over, 6 to the under with 1 push in their last 10 games, guys. They're on a 3-game under streak, all right, in their last 3 games. They went under against Chicago, Minnesota, and Jacksonville. Just so you know, all of those went under the 45.5, 46 range, all right. So let's look at head-to-head. Now, head-to-head, these 2 teams, Houston runs at 5-3. Straight up. It's 4-4 against the spread and 2 to the over, 6 to the under in their last 8 games that they played against each other. They haven't met each other since October 3rd of 2021. Buffalo won 40-0, and that was way before the CJ Stroud era. So we're not even going to consider that right now. And they had different coaching. Like Deshaun Watson was there, guys. Like Case Keenum was the quarterback, maybe. You know, it's a completely different game. Completely different game. So let's look at the trends, right? When you look at the trends, the Buffalo Bills have hit the second quarter game total over in 14 of their last 19 games, whereas Houston Texans have hit the money line in 15 of their last 22 games. The Buffalo Bills have hit the third quarter money line in 10 of their last 19 games, and the Houston Texans have hit the first half money line in 15 of their last 22 games. The Buffalo Bills have covered the third quarter spread in 12 of their last 19 games, and the Houston Texans have hit the fourth quarter money line in 7 of their last 11 games at home. The Buffalo Bills have hit the first half game total over in 12 of their last 22 games, and the Houston Texans have hit the money line in the second quarter 11 of their last 19 games, guys. Buffalo Bills have hit the second quarter money line in 10 of their last 20 games, and the Houston Texans have covered the second half spread in 7 of their last 9 games at home. Buffalo Bills have scored last in 4 of their last 5 away games, and the Houston Texans have covered the second quarter spread in 13 of their last 20 games, guys. All right, so which way are we looking? Why each team has an opportunity? here's why the Bills got a good opportunity to cover this game, man. The Bills have won each of their last 6 road games before a division game. The Texans have lost each of their last 6 games against AFC East opponents. The Texans have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 5 games, and the Bills have covered the spread in 5 of their last 6 games against teams that held a winning record. The Bills have won the first quarter in 4 of their last 5 road games following a road loss, and the Bills have won the first half in 6 of their last 7 games against teams that held a winning record. The Bills also have scored the first touchdown in 4 of their last 5 games against the Texans. Each of the Texans' last 5 games in October have gone under the total points line. Each of the Bills' last 4 games as road favorites following a loss have gone under the total points line. And 6 of the last 7 Sunday games at NRG Stadium have gone under the total points line, guys. All right. As far as props is concerned, Nico Collins has scored at least 1 touchdown in 8 of the last 9 home appearances against AFC opponents, man. All right, so definitely want to look towards that because Nico Collins has been balling. Josh Allen has recorded 248 plus passing yards in 9 of the Bills' last 10 games against AFC South opponents. So you definitely want to look at that. Josh Allen has scored 2 touchdowns in 3 of the Bills' last 4 Sunday games as favorites, guys. Want to look there as well. So Buffalo comes into this matchup getting dominated on Sunday night, and they're going to try to bounce back here. The Bills looked very good in their first 3 games, but never had a chance against Baltimore, and they did play some bums in their first 3. Houston is 3-1 in their start, but their wins have been less convincing as well. Texas has struggled against Jacksonville, Chicago, and the Colts, all bums. All right, so while they were blown out by 27 points in Minnesota, that should say a lot to you. All right, so this should be a very entertaining game, but I'm going to have to tell you, man, I'm rocking with the under in this game. I think it's going to be under the 47, and I really believe that the Bills are going to get this game. All right, I think Houston has a good chance at it, man, but depending on, well, hold on now. That depends on who is out there for the Bills at wide receiver. All right, because I'm not seeing. If Khalil Shakur misses the game, like it's stated right now, then this is going to be a Texans game. All right, yeah, this is going to be a Texans game, and so I'll go Texans money line, but I do like the under 47, guys. I don't know, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'm gonna holler at y'all. See you out the window. Peace.